Hi viewers, today I'm going to be taking you through the procedure for taking out your front shock absorbers on the 2003 to 2007 Honda Accord. First things first, or maybe I should go over the tools you need. Right, so there isn't much to this task. You need a 17mm wrench. You don't need a 19, you need a 14. You need a 17 spanner. This is just your regular ratchet. Deep 14mm socket would be nice to have, and so as well your deep 12, or I think an ordinary 12 will serve. You don't necessarily need a deep one. Right, so first things first, you jack up your car, place on jack stands as usual. You want to take out your front tire, which I've already done just to save time on this. After that, you would place a jack underneath your lower control arm. The essence of the jack is just to take the weight of the lower control arm, so you're not necessarily jacking up the lower control arm. Once you wind up the jack and it encounters resistance and the lower control arm starts to move up, that's fine. You just stop. You don't need to go any further. Once you're done with that, you want to remove this 10mm pinch bolt, which I've already done. There isn't much to that as well. I used my 14mm socket to remove that. And next, you're going to remove this bolt. So that's the damper to lower control arm bolt. So you're going to remove that, and that is a 17. I'll see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, so let's see. Okay, all right, so that has moved. So the other thing I want to state is, because I'm just going to go off camera and to save time and do this quickly. Once you break the seal, you need to put your 17mm spanner on the bolt so as to stop that from spinning. If not, the knot will be spinning as well as the bolt. So I'll go off air and do this and come back. So that's done. Bolt is out, so you simply pull out. Loosen the bolts that connect your ABS line to your hub. So there are two bolts really. This one, this, and this as well. This. Right, and they are both 10mm. So I'll just do those. Comes out really easy. So this is just to give you more room while you're taking out your struts. So that's that. It's always a good idea to just once you've removed the line, just put the screw back in, or the bolt back in, or the knot, as the case may be. I forgot to do this earlier, but it still doesn't matter. I'll just do that now. So I'll take out the damper fork, which is this. So you just wiggle, that comes out. I think I'm going to need my two hands to do this. Okay, so I've had that sorted, and the technique actually is to push your struts to the left. So once you do that, you have more room to push this out. You may also need to, with both of your hands, sort of try to expand the tips of this so that it goes over its bushing, which is this. So next, turn your attention to the mounting bolts for the struts. That's it. In the engine bay, there are 5 of them. 3 are 14mm, 2 are 12mm. So I'll just undo those. So that's come loose. Let's come loose as well. so I'll need to change to 12. But I'll just go off air and have this come off to save time. So once you're down to your last bolt, because that's actually what's holding the strut from falling through, you would want to, while loosening this, use your other hand to hold the strut so that it doesn't fall through. So I just wanted to say this before I do that step. So I've succeeded in taking out the mounting bolts. Now it's just to bring the strut down. Oops. So, and there's a fair amount of wiggling in this. Okay, so the trick I used was actually to, if you lift up the lower control arm, so that's if you jack up the lower control arm, the strut actually slides out, so that makes it easier. So that's the tip. So you just bring this forward and that's it, it comes out. Yeah. Back to complete the installation of the strut. So because this step is a bit awkward, I had to do it off camera, but I'll just explain what I did. So you would start by the same way you took out the strut, so you put in the strut that way. Once you do that, the first thing you'd want to do is to make sure you guide the studs on top of the mounting bracket for the strut. So you'd want to guide the studs into their holes, and that's this. So you want to guide the struts into these holes, and once they come out, you just secure them lightly. So this is to make sure that the bolts hold up the strut while you do other things. Every other step is essentially the same as how you took it out, but however, you should note the following. You would put in the damper fork, you would fit it back in, and once you've done that, you want to jack up, that's using your floor jack, you jack up the lower control arm to simulate normal ride height. So that would mean that, so lift up the control arm until you get to the point where it's almost like the vehicle starts lifting up. So you stop at that point. So that's the point at which you tighten the pinch bolt, and then also insert the bolt for the that's the damper to lower control arm bolt, which fits here. So one more very important point I forgot to cover is that, so there's an aligning tab on the back of the strut that should fit into this groove you're seeing here. So I'll try to get a shot of that and show you. Bear with me. It's a bit awkward. I don't know if so that's the tab I was talking about, this protrusion here. So you want to make sure that it fits in that groove. So the last step in this process, after you've tightened the pinch bolt and then also tightened the damper fork to lower control arm bolt, is to turn your attention to the mounting bolts for the shock absorber. But before you do that, you would want to lower the vehicle. So take off the jack, take the vehicle off jack stands and allow the vehicle to rest on its weight. Then you'd now want to tighten these bolts to the specific torques that are listed on the screen. Thank you very much.